This is my chicken pen. Well, I call it a chicken pen. I sometimes call it a chicken complex. Sometimes I think of it as a chicken habitat, because just to say it's a pen, well, it's kind of an understatement. Originally, my pen, my chicken pen, looked like this. It was just basically 32 square feet, no nest boxes, and very little roosting space. I now have all in total 516 square feet, over 40 nest boxes, and just loads and loads of roosting space. And now I'd just like to show you how I came to have such a big chicken complex slash habitat slash pen. Now you'll notice first is that in the front I have 1, 2, 3, and all the way down here makes 4 openings. Now that's because while this is all one big open pen slash complex slash habitat, through each opening I have doors inside where I can close off the pens and make them individual pens. For instance, when I had the original chicken pen, this right here was the original yard. And you can't tell by looking at it now, but originally it looked like this. But as you can see here, I have a pen on this side, and I have a pen on this side. And of course, right here is the doors that I have closed to where I can close it off and it can be all one pen. But we open this, and there is another pen here, and open up this door and it goes into another pen. And we'll discuss those 2 pens later. Now, this way, out here, you can't tell by looking at it, but the original pen, this was the door. And we go inside, and you can see that whereas I've closed this off, but it used to be all open. And what I had in here originally were guineas. But the guineas didn't stick around too long. When they got big enough, they defected to a flock down the road of my neighbors. But this right here, you can see was the original shelter, and they roosted up here. But I've closed it all in. That was a window, and that was a window, that's a window. I've closed it all in and added these windows. Now I'll show you something else that I did in renovating this original pen that I think's kind of interesting. Now this is the back side of the original pen, and you can see here that it is off the ground like it was in the picture. And one of the things you might notice is that I replaced the crappy roof that couldn't keep the rain out with a better roof that does keep the rain out. Now, whereas I have this closed down, I want to show you some interesting features. For starters, this here is a window with a sliding panel that opens up. And this right here is another window that I can open up. Let's see, well, and right here is a third window that I can open. Now this right here is not just a window. It's also a door, which I can open. And you can look in here and you can see I now have this closed off. And sometimes what I do in here is when I have a hen that's really broody, and being broody means that a hen really wants to have chicks, and she'll just sit on the nest and sit on the nest, and when one gets like that, I'll fix up this area with some nice shavings and bedding and let her hatch out a clutch of eggs. But I want to show you this here. Since I don't have a broody hen, I can open this, and you can see here's an opening that goes all the way through, and I open this, and you can see this opens up into another yard. So, since you know, it's not time to let any chicks hatch out, I leave this open so they can go in, but also, now this right here, you can't tell by looking at it, but behind this door, or this flap for the window, is another door, which goes into that. Now, we came into that front part of the pen, of the original chicken pen, and you can see through this small door, which I can close and open. This goes into that original pen. And of course here, these are windows that I keep open to where the chickens can go through to the coop that I've added next door. And you can see there's a couple of chickens sitting in the nest boxes over there. So, okay, we're back out in front of the chicken pen. Now, as you can see, this is the doorway that goes into the original pen. But I want to go in here and show you the next coop that I added in the development of the chicken complex slash pen slash habitat. Now this is the door that went into that pen. Now I want to show you here, this is the doorway that goes into, as you can see, this is the original built. One of the first things you probably notice about that is there's a lot more headroom, which was something I did. Now originally, this yard was only, let me back up here, went from here to here. That was the whole yard right there. I don't know what I was thinking, but it was small, small, small. Let's go in here, and you can see that I have two tight sets of nest boxes. Now these are on the ground because some of the hens, particularly my silky hens, like to nest close to the ground. And here are some nest boxes that I have that are like 18 inches off the ground. Now, you can see that they've already been busy laying eggs, and I hear somebody. There's a little well summer. She doesn't like to have her picture taken. There's a little hen in there. Now, one of the things you'll notice that I have the tops of these nest boxes set to where I encourage the chickens to roost up there. The reason I do that is because every morning when I let the chickens out, I can come in here and harvest chicken berries. Now, I won't say exactly what chicken berries are, except they make great fertilizer. But here is a nice, ripe little chicken berry. Those off top of all the coops, and I put them in a special place to where they can be converted into first-rate fertilizer, and I'll show you that. Here in coop 2, you can see there's quite a large number of them roosting on top of the lower nest boxes. and on the upper, some of the others on the top, and some in the nest boxes, and down here, a little silky hen. And of course, now here is a nice big window, which I can close off when it's weather's cold, and then leave it open so there's plenty of sunshine. And that there is one of my dogs, Bonnie. She has been trained to protect the chickens. Okay, so let's go back out here. Now, as I already showed you, this yard was so small, and quickly realizing my mistake, I went through here and I added this yard, which is much bigger. And it goes all the way around here to where it joins to the side of, you can't tell by looking at it, but that was the north side of the original 32 square foot chicken pen. Okay, now this right here, this little structure is called, I call the annex. And what I did in here was I built this, and I have 4 nest boxes that I've added. Now, on this one right here, for some reason at night, when they roost, there's a whole bunch of them. There's like 6 hens that'll crowd themselves in here. Over here, for some reason, everybody's decided to, 6 of them, which is 5 Buckeyes and 1 speckled Sussex, have taken to roosting here all together in this one little nest box. For easy access to the end nest boxes, I just have this nifty little door. And there's a couple of eggs there waiting for me to gather them, but there's nobody in there. And let's go around here to the side. And let's see, here is another little door, and I think somebody's in here. Yeah, this is one of my hens that's gone broody. I would let her hatch out some chicks, but this is the February, and it's just too cold. She's one of the silky hen crosses, a cross between a silky rooster and a buff Orpington. Now, sometimes in roosting, there's a few of them that like to get up here on the annex. And as you can see, because I have the top part of the pen closed in to keep predators out, it gets kind of crowded. Sometimes it looks like this. And this, I'm kind of proud of this. This was the top of a cedar tree that a few years back, when I was putting this yard in, a windstorm came by and blew the top of the cedar tree out. Well, I took that cedar tree and I trimmed it up, and I made it into a roost, which some of the hens get on at night, and when they do, it looks like this. Okay, now here we are. We're still in that part of the yard that I showed you behind the second coop that I've built. Now, looking straight here, this is the north side of the original pen. Now, we go in here, and you can see this is the inside of the original pen, and this right here was that little brooding area that I showed you earlier. And you can see that this goes all the way through. Now, originally I had this little shelter area built here and here because I didn't have a roof over the pen. It was just closed in like what you see right here to keep predators out. But the rain kind of made the dirt look nasty when it rained, so I put the roof in just to keep things nice and dry. Okay, now that we have seen this yard, I want to go back out front here. Okay, so here we are back out front, and I just showed you the second coop in the second yard that I've added, and then not being satisfied, you come down here to this doorway here, and you find that this was the third yard and the third coop that I added. Now we go in here, and you can see here I have open. This is, like I said, this is part of the original chicken pen, but let's close that for a minute. Now, as you can see here, here's the yard, and this is the third coop that I built. And inside you can see that it's similar to the other one. Nest boxes on the ground. Nest boxes up off the ground. And this in here in this nest box is Misty. She's a Buff Orpington. She was one of the original surviving hens that we got when I started this thing in the spring of 2006. She and another one, her sister Beulah, are the two oldest surviving hens. Okay, and there is a window, and the window that I have there that I can open and close. Now, this right here was one side to the original pen, and this was a window. Of course, I have sliding panels here that I can close and open. And if we look in here, you can see the way that I've renovated it. It goes all the way through to the other side. But I like to leave it open, and sometimes, you know, at night, one of the hens will roost up in there. And as you can see, it's the same top where they roost at night. And when they're in here at night, it looks like this. And here are the lower nest boxes. Down there sticking his head out is my little silky rooster Beauregard, the little fella who lost an eye. And down there with him is a little red silky hen. And over here the next one is a white silky hen. And then up here on the upper nest boxes are some of the others roosting on top, so I can harvest the chicken berries in the morning. And some nesting or roosting, nesting in the nest boxes. And over here in the window, one hen. Okay, so there you go. They all crowd in here at night. You can see that's one of the Delawares popping through that window slash door, coming in to investigate. There's a little salmon fava roll up here on the nest box. Okay, so let's go back out here. Now I want to show you something. Now I have the top of the pen closed in to keep predators from coming in through the top. But I didn't have a roof over all of it. And I should go out here and show you. You can see from here, this part of the roof is a little bit off the pen because I had to make allowances for the existing roof, which you can, I don't know if you can see, in there, just barely the top of that coop. But anyway, I roofed in the top because when it rained, the dirt in the pen just got all muddy and nasty. Like I said, the roof was added, and I was concerned about making it strong enough to withstand, you know, weather and rain. And you can see right here, and we had that snow at Christmas. The top of this cedar tree broke off and fell right on top of it. And you can see right here is what's left of it. I had to get a chainsaw and cut it up. And fortunately, no damage to the roof. So I'm quite happy about that. But anyway, I got the top closed in to keep predators from going in through the top. Now, down on the bottom, if you look closely, you can see that some of the pen is off the ground. Now, some of the pen rests on the ground and some of it on top of the ground. But I boxed framed the bottom and then did 2x4s across the box frame, and then when I went and bought some topsoil from a nursery and brought it in and filled in the top. So this is actually like being on the ground, but it's not on the ground. Now let's walk down here. This is the fourth part of the coop and yard that I added, and you can see here more clearly. Right there, you see there's the box frame, and there's the 2x4s with little spaces in between them, you know, to let air and moisture out. I built up the side, and we go in here, and you can see that this is brought in the topsoil here. And this is my fourth yard and coop that I've added, and probably won't expand anymore because Virginia won't let me. But anyway, let's step back so we can. Now this one, of course, when I added it, I went ahead and put the roof on it. And let's go in here. Now you can see here is the doorway. Goes through. There's the annex and that part of the chicken pen. And this is my biggest yard and biggest coop that I've added. Now up in here in the rafter, I got one silky hen cross that likes to roost right up there at night, and when she does, it looks like this. This is the silky cross who likes to nest up in the rafter. She's pretty content. Okay, so let's look at the rest of the yard. Now here's my freestanding nest boxes. I have 6 of those. Now I like having freestanding nest boxes because when I close off pens for various reasons, I can put in another nest. I can move these nest boxes there and let the chickens use them for whatever reason. But now they're just sitting here waiting. And at night, the funny thing about it, there's a whole bunch of them that roost up on top of these nest boxes, and it kind of looks something like this. And here's a group that likes to roost in the yard on top of the freestanding nest boxes. They gather around, huddle together, and make themselves quite comfy and cozy. Okay, so now that you've seen that, I want to show you my most recently built coop. I have nice big windows here that sometimes the chickens roost in. Of course, during the cold weather, I can close those off. And let's go inside. And you can see, now down there is the chicken only entrance and exit, so they can have easy access. I think it's important for them to have easy access into the next yard. You can see that's that second yard with the roosting tree that I added. And of course, if I need to, I can close it off with this little door. But now I leave it open. Now that is a very fussy Welsummer who I am disturbing, and she is trying to lay her egg. So we'll just leave her alone. As you can see here, I have 4 small windows that I keep open during the day in nice weather, but at night when it's cold, you know, I can slide them all shut. Now, people ask, they said, well, do your chicken coops, are they heated? And no, but they don't need to be. The breeds that I have do pretty good during the winter, but their feathers will trap air underneath, which their body heat will warm and act as an insulator. But however, you do want to have an enclosed area like this. You can see with the windows here, that again with the sliding panels that I can close off. But you want these areas sheltered and closed in so that when it's really cold, that their combs and wattles don't get frostbite. But anyway, as you can see, this is the longest one. This has 20 nest boxes, and they all crowd in here at night and roost on top. And that looks something like this. Now here we are in coop 4. Everybody's roosting on top of the nest boxes. Now all my windows are closed. It's going to be a chilly night. Want to keep everybody nice and warm. Okay, so now you've seen the chickens roosting on top of the coops, and I've talked about harvesting the chicken berries. Now I want to show you what I do with those. So let's go back out here. And out to the front. And round to the side here. And you see that I've made a special place to put the chicken berries, and I dump them here every morning. As you can see, some of the chickens, they kind of help break them down with all their pecking and scratching. The weather also breaks them down, and this makes for really, really great fertilizer for any garden anywhere. Okay, well, there you go. This is my chicken pen / complex / habitat. Now, I'm not really sure how good it is or what the standard of excellence for things like this are, but if my chickens are any judge, they think it's pretty darn nice. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. And if someday you're in the neighborhood and you'd like to see this for yourself, come on by. We'll be glad for your visit. We'll even let you hold and pet a chicken, and if we have some eggs, we might even give you a dozen of eggs or so. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching it, and have a nice day.